So, what advice would you give to somebody in those moments when they feel challenged or doubtful about what their authentic purpose actually is?
I love that question. I've been in rooms, given how much I really feel strongly about lyrics and music today. I really feel strongly that so often we tolerate normalized misogyny in all types of genres, really. And none of us question it. We dance to it, we turn up to it, we participate in it just by consuming it. And I think we consume it because the beats are good, the melodies are good, we feel cool when we listen to that music. But dancing to stuff that contributes to our own oppression, whether it's using the words bitches and hoes, whether it's putting us in positions of sexual subservience that we wouldn't otherwise tolerate. All these kinds of things reaffirm problematic norms in our society. And when I revisit and I look at my intention and wanting to challenge somebody who's my peer, somebody who is in the room saying these kind of sexist things, I remember what is my intention. And I'm not trying to put that person down. I'm trying to educate. I'm trying to say, hey, have you considered that in order for you to put yourself up, it comes at the expense of women, it comes at the expense of girls, it comes at the expense of feminine people, it comes at the expense of your own femininity. Why do we participate in that? What is the need for that? Why is it that you have to elevate yourself at the expense of somebody else's freedom and liberation? What is that? And I think we have to be brave enough to remember that if our intention is one of purity, of education, of love, then it's always worth standing up, because in us standing up for ourselves, we're standing up for so many people than we could have ever imagined.
So, to sort of reiterate what you just said, it almost seems like the answer to your question was asking more questions, like being critical. Like, have you considered these things? What does this mean to you? Is
Yes.
that the way that you approach like
Yes, I
conversations
love
like
that
that?
I love that you're bringing that up. I feel people of anything, including myself, if I'm on the receiving side of an educative point, um, we're all so much more willing to receive criticism and thought if it's done in a safe way. If we are triggered by somebody else's sexism and then we yell at that person, they're going to be way less willing to change than if we calmly say, "Hey, do you know what it makes me feel like when those lyrics are used? Do you know what it makes me feel like when you talk only to the other men in the room and you don't talk to me? Or I don't know if you realize this, but this is what's happening, and it doesn't make me feel like I'm able to participate and bring my best self to this situation, and I want to bring my best self to the situation." We have to first make sure that we're not triggered. We have to make sure that the wound is soothed before we speak up, because if we speak from a place of trigger or emotion, it makes it harder for that person to receive what it is that we're trying to say. But when we come from that moment of inner peace, of calmness, of clarity, I do think it fosters the right environment, and we end up leading by example of what social change can actually look and feel like when we lead with calm confidence.
So, how do you get to that place of calm confidence?
I mean, daily meditation. I have a very strong meditation practice. I really do. 15 minutes in the morning. I don't miss a day. I think a lot of us have to really be self-aware of what our daily thoughts are that we tell ourselves. I'm a strong believer in that the way we treat others is often how we treat ourselves. So I've been around bullies. I've been around people who are rude, and I used to always internalize it. But the more work I do, the more I realize, oh, they're actually saying even worse things to themselves when we're not around. They're even harsher to themselves. They're calling themselves an idiot. They're calling themselves a failure. So of course that's what they're spewing in other situations. The reverse is also true. I try my best to be loving to myself. Like, Kieran, that was a nice beat. Like, that's cool. You couldn't have made that 2 years ago. I love you. I'm so proud of you. Like, I really, as if I'm the baby in the situation, I say these things to myself. And I don't need to say it publicly. It's just for me. And the more I do that for myself, the more I find myself doing that for everybody around me. Like, wow, you just did an awesome run on that snowboarding mountain. That was amazing. That was so cool. And the person's like, Kieran, you're being so sweet. But that's how we spread the positive vibes. That's how we take responsibility for elevating the space around us. And then that becomes the new norm. Those people step into that because it feels good. So I think rewiring the brain, the thoughts in our own brain is the first step to then saying positive things and then doing positive things.
That's really great, like tangible advice. It's a daily practice of being good to yourself. And I can attest to the fact that you are very complimentary of people, in conversations, and you do make other people feel powerful and good. And I can see that reflected back in the way that you walk through the world.
Thanks for saying that. That means a lot to me.